You've been thinking about starting a podcast, but there is just one problem. You already have a whole business you're working on. Even if you're not book solid and you love the idea of having an organic content machine, the thought of adding something else brand new to your plate just feels impossible, right? Especially if you have no guarantees that this will actually do anything for your business at all, except for rob your time and energy. Other people may get lucky, but you need assurances. Well, what if I told you that you could start a high impact podcast that grows your brand and books you more high ticket clients without spending more than 2 hours a week? That's what we're talking about today in this video. Since 2018, I have helped successful coaches and consultants, busy people just like you, whether they're working solo or working with a team, to grow podcasts and become core parts of their businesses without draining their time and energy. Now, for the duration of this video, I want you to forget about the idea of starting a podcast. This isn't about that. This is about building your authority, creating evergreen content, and attracting your dream clients, all while working within your lifestyle. My promise to you is that by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to start a podcast the right way, with systems, support, and strategy that aligns with your business. We'll be going through 3 things today. The number one reason that most experts delay starting their podcast and why that's a mistake, how to create a podcast workflow that fits your schedule without extra work. And number 3, the systems we've used to help clients like Jessica to build successful podcasts while still running their businesses. Can we address the elephant in the room? You're already too busy to do a podcast. Let's assume that's the case. You already are leading sales calls and also client delivery calls. You're probably managing a team, possibly if you have a team. You're refining your offers. You're doing the finances. You're doing all of these things. You're hiring, you're firing. You're working in and on your business. So the last thing on your agenda to do will be to add something completely new. Not to mention, you've probably seen peers start their podcasts and probably don't even get to launch, or even if they do launch, they don't get to 5 episodes because the process is just too much for them. And I get it. You don't want to be like them. You don't want to start something and fail. You actually want to do it and do it consistently. You don't want to be inconsistent with the process. And so you end up just putting it off. Just saying, I'll get to it one day when I have the time. That's a very common place to be. And that is exactly where our client Jessica was when she started working with us. She runs one of the largest women's health coaching certification programs in the world. When we met her, she's already traveling across the world and speaking. She is working with her clients and getting them enrolled and certified through her programs. And she's also deepening her own knowledge and growing her own practice with working with her direct clients. And she already had a team that was working with her as well. And so when she came to us, she wanted a system that would help her to create content for all of her social platforms and really enrich those platforms. And she wanted a way to bring her community, which was everywhere. They were on email, they were on socials, they were everywhere, bring them close together in one place. She wanted to be an authority, and she wanted a platform that was an authority about women's health issues from her perspective, bringing the latest studies and her perspectives on them to new potential clients who would then want to become coaches as well. And she wanted a way that we didn't burden her and her team, because she's seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it as well. And so this is exactly what we told her and how we helped her, and it's exactly what I'm going to tell you as well. You don't need to do everything yourself. As a matter of fact, you only need to show up and do the part that only you can do. That is getting on that mic and sharing your message. With the right systems, your podcast should run like clockwork. Think about it as like a done-for-you content machine. For example, at Amazing Gains, we've created podcast workflows. So all you need to do is once you go in and do your recording, you just walk away. We take all of that and then we create the thumbnails, we create the clips, we write all the copy and all the show notes, we edit the videos, we edit the audios, and we put it up everywhere for you. And if you work with a team, you have them take the assets which we give you and you put it everywhere, or we can take care of the entire process from end to end for you. So literally, in Jessica's case, she only spends about 10 hours a month on her podcast, and it's only focused on recording. Everything else is taken care of for her. And the results speak for themselves. She's getting thousands and thousands of views a month, bringing brand new people into, if you look at the comments, she's bringing brand new people into her audience. If you look at all of her offers, her email lists, they are growing as a result of the content. All she's doing is recording one thing every week. And actually, in this case, she was recording a batch of stuff months ago. Something that she created months ago is still going out there on a regular weekly cadence, growing her audience, bringing people in, warming people up, and nurturing her existing community. So when she talks about it and say, hey, I'm launching a new cohort for my certification program, it goes out everywhere and it brings in new people into the podcast, nurtures them, and then directs them through calls to actions to those offers. But fine, let's say you don't want to have to pay anyone or hire my agency to get this done for you, especially when you're just starting out and you want to see where this can go, what the traction is, if this thing has legs before you make that investment. I get it, that's fine. Now, when you think about it that way, you're looking at all the scripting and editing and the recording and mining for clips, designing up thumbnails in Canva, and on and on and on the process can go. Thinking about all of that can be a lot, right? And when you think about all the extra work, you then ask yourself, why am I going to do all of this if it's not going to give me any results? I'm not going to take that chance. Like, organic content is a shot in the dark in most cases. It's not like you're running ads where you put money in and you get clients at the end. There's no guarantee that it will reach anyone or that anyone will then become your client. So knowing that, and the reality is that 90% of podcasts don't make it to their 21st episode, and the reason they die is because most people find the process too complicated to do, and it becomes a negative return on investment. And at the same time, 90% of businesses don't make it to 10 years, but you're still out here grinding. You're still out here serving your clients and showing up every single day. So you are in this to beat the odds. You know that the benefit far outweighs the risk, which is why you're still watching this video. And if you know this simple truth, you will be able to make it through to the other end. The simple truth is this: most people overcomplicate the process and think that they have to be at 100 when their capacity is only at 10. And so they start with all the glitz and glamour and all the motivation to go. And then they realize, I'm trying to climb Mount Everest when I haven't even run a marathon. And they burn out and they give up. Or their expectations are that when I do this process, it's going to go so well for me. And then they realize it actually takes momentum and it takes consistency. You know the risks that are involved, and you know the rewards far outweigh the risk when this whole thing works. And so you're committed to the process because you're committed to running a business, and any business takes work to see success. You realize that your capacity is only at 10, so you're not going to try to go to 100. And here's how you actually do that. So I'm going to give you a DIY guide for how you can keep your podcast consistent while also spending as little time as possible on this podcast process. Let's realize that we can use tools like AI and other things to make the process easier. And we're going to be very realistic for where we are, meaning don't expect that you're going to produce expert level clips, expert level editing, any of those things. But using AI and using these tools, you will get pretty darn close enough that your content, when it goes out there, can actually reach people who will then see it, become aware of you, join your community, whether by subscribing or joining your emails or taking any of those call to actions, be nurtured, and then become your client. So that is still possible with this process. All right, so it starts by taking a look at what are the things that you do currently for your marketing. Are you sending 3 emails a week or 1 email a week? Are you posting daily or maybe posting once a week on social media? Maybe that's all you can manage right now, right? Just be aware of what you're doing. The next thing to do is to realize that you can use a podcast to enrich all of these tasks. Specifically, if you spend an hour a week, that's 4 hours a month, creating content for your podcast, interviewing people, doing your solo episodes, just presenting your expertise as an authority. You can then take those episodes, those video files or those audio files or both, put them into a transcription software like Otter AI or Descript, for example. And then you can get those transcripts and put those transcripts into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you the main talking points. And you probably will get, if you do a 60-minute episode, it's not unlikely that you have 3 to 5 talking points. And you can tell ChatGPT, based on the context of that transcript of that episode you recorded, and based on each talking point, give me one 1,500-word blog post on each of those talking points. You've created 3 to 5 full-length blog posts for your website to grow your SEO, to have a content-rich website there. You could also turn those blog posts into LinkedIn posts as well. And you can also tell ChatGPT to give you 1 email for each talking point as well. So you've created 3 to 5 emails per week. And all you did was just put that into ChatGPT and make some prompts. The next thing you want to do is to take that video file and put it into an AI app called Opus Clip. And an Opus Clip would give you, for an hour-long episode, it would give you about it'll give you anywhere between 5 and 10 really solid clips. It gives a ranking based on what it thinks would be the most viral worthy clip. And then you can take the top 5, top 10, and you can just use those as they are. Right? It adds the captions to it for you. You could just take those and use them. So now what you have is 20 to 40 clips per month. And all you did was just take a video file and drop it into Opus Clip. So now you're seeing that all you really did is put in 4 hours to create those content pieces. And now you have content that can go onto your social media, onto your website every single day for a month. Now I have to say again, this is not going to replace experts who do this for a living, who know about the right hooks to pick, how to edit a clip for it to go viral, how to write show notes, and so people will feel inclined to want to listen to the full episode and become a permanent listener of your show. All that stuff will so that you can add on as you gain more capacity and bandwidth. Now, there's something that we haven't yet touched on that I believe plagues a lot of aspiring podcasters or people who are thinking about diving deep into this concept of creating organic content. And that is, they don't want to do all this work to not get any results. Or we don't know when the results are going to come. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be a year from now. Why bother? But here's the undeniable reality. Your podcast audience has a high intent. When they've listened to your show continually for 20 to 60 minutes at a time, you become part of their family. You become a part of their lives. And that comes with it a huge amount of influence. And that builds trust faster than any ad can. Your podcast then becomes the middle of your funnel. Now think about a funnel. The bottom of the funnel is where people make the transaction to become your client. The middle of the funnel is where you're nurturing the relationship, deepening the relationship, taking someone from cold, they don't know who you are, to hot, they know you, love you, trust you, you are their favorite person. Top of funnel is they're cold, they're just coming around to the idea that they have a problem and they're looking for who can give me a solution. By you attracting them, they come into the top of your funnel. Your podcast being in the middle of the funnel means it is the engine that turns a complete stranger into someone who is excited to give you their money and their time and their energy. And so, no, I can't guarantee that you'll get immediate results. If you do want immediate results, take your money and put it in ads and let that keep running. But I can tell you, because I make my living doing this, all of my clients are getting clients from their podcast. All of my clients are saying their podcast is a core part of their marketing funnel. That middle of funnel, their clients say, I heard you on your podcast and I knew I had to work with you. Nothing else is going to give you that level of authentic relationship building. And so the question is, do you have what it takes to sit in that driver's seat and to put in that time and effort for whatever capacity you have for an extended period of time to attract the audience and deepen that relationship over time with your audience? If you do, this podcast is the best thing for you. So if you have 2 hours a week, you don't need to choose between growing your business or starting a podcast. With the right support system, your podcast can be an authority amplifier and a client generator. It becomes something that scales your time, not steals it. All you need is the right approach. So you can go the DIY route if you want, or you can record your expertise and let us handle the rest and watch your content multiply across all the platforms and your expertise become omnipresent. If you're ready to start your podcast without burning out, click the link in the description to learn how we can automate and grow your show for you. I'll talk to you in the next one.